Has Siren gone too far? Today we're gonna find out, because actually something really crazy happened. We are now straight up in the middle of the melee meta. And some classes that were supposed to take off later took off already pretty much. Now there is a couple reasons for that. Number one, we got the world bosses early, so people got more gear than they are supposed to. But secondly, the fights in here do tend to benefit the melee in many ways, and that's what the data shows, with the subtlety rogue going straight at the super top, which is not a surprise. The subtlety rogue was doing very well, something you may be surprised about. Assassination is now number 3, so now you got two really good specs to play rogues. I know a lot of people do not like subtlety. Now you can play assassination really freaking well. Also, we see the Frost Death Knight taking off quite a lot as well. We might even go back to Frost, honestly. That is pretty tempting. Why is it so goddamn hot in my room? It's winter in the South America, bro. What the hell? The Arms Warrior is staying at number 4, like always. That's pretty much what it was before. You can see the very super top. Arms Warriors are pulling insane damage. They are number 2 in the world super champion. Now that is because one thing. If you are a big fat oiler, we're talking like bomb kind of money, and you got 4-piece, Arms Warrior is actually one of the most disgusting classes in the game. Because your main DPS cooldown, Recklessness, is gonna be reduced by 90 seconds. Now remember, Recklessness is a 3-minute cooldown, so you are chopping one of your best DPS cooldowns pretty much in half. And that's why the Warrior is now one of the most disgusting classes that ever lived, if you got forced. And this is why, okay? If you see the gap between the average Warrior is kinda like pretty good, right? Number 4, really good, but not insane. The top Warriors are doing insane. Why? Because the couple lucky people that got the forced bonus are doing insane damage the entire time. And why is that? Because of how your procs work. You get a proc to get a 100% critical strike on Obliterate. Of course, Obliterate Frost DK is the most popular. There is a couple people playing Master Frost. Even in that case, it also matters, like Frost Strike. But the more haste you get, the more procs you get. And it will not scale forever. It will not scale forever. But eventually you reach a point where you got so many procs that you get a really good uptime and you are doing a stupid amount of damage. Which is why we are seeing Frost slowly but surely climb up. It is not going to climb up forever, but it is gonna keep going up, and Holy does not scale as good as Frost in theory. I don't know how it's gonna work now with the class changes. That's a different discussion, honestly. The real question of who's gonna scale in the next raid tier, that means who's Siren gonna buff to hell. That's pretty much it. That's the only way I can tell you. Like, I cannot tell you. I can do the math, I can sim it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One of these guys is getting like getting really kicked in the butt very soon. You're just gonna see. You're gonna see. It's gonna be all different and stuff. But the Feral Druid went from one of the worst classes in the game, actually not quite, but very low, to a very respectable number 6. I wish I could tell you why. I suspect it has something to do with haste, but I got no freaking idea. I do not play Feral. I don't know anybody that plays Feral, and if you tell me in the comments that you play Feral, I think you're lying. I think you're a spy and you're here to steal my tap water. But then we got the Survival Hunter, which fell down really freaking hard. Oof. There is, however, some really good news. Beast Mastery is catching up. As you can see, the top Beast Mastery pumpers are already beating the top survival pumpers. So for all the people that didn't believe when I said it was gonna go up, here it is, bro. Like, do not take stock advice from me. I don't wanna make you bankrupt. But I said Beast Mastery is gonna go up. Invest, pump. No financial advice, not financial advice. And I said it, and then it pumped and it went up. Why? Heart of Fear has a lot of AoE mechanics, and Beast Mastery, when you pop cooldowns, is the best freaking AoE in the game. Also, Beast Mastery will peak at mid-game. That's what they do. Like, once you get a couple pieces, you actually pump to hell. As you can see, you also get a much longer Bestial Rat, that's more damage, and you get 15% kill command damage, while Survival only gets a puny 5% buff to Explosive Shot. Kill command, it gets 15%. Medina, what about Chimera Shot? Nobody plays Marksman. What do I know? Have you ever seen one? Yeah, like, oh, look at how small the marksmanship. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's like, marksmanship is like this, and Beast Mastery is like this. Nobody plays marksmanship. Don't worry about it, guys. Like, the reason you see like a very average point here, and then you see like a very low gap between the average and the median, okay? And like the top people is because if you really care about your class, you do not play freaking marksmanship. That's it. So like the tryhards do not play this spec because it sucks. Then something really curious I see here, and I would love to get an explanation. Enhancement is pretty trash, as you can see. It's been trash for a while, but Elemental, for whatever reason, is doing very low numbers. Elemental was dominating MSB, and it is not anymore. Now, what happens if I go to normal? It doesn't change much. Interesting. We can see the Windwalker Monk takes a couple more steps in normal. Now, I am not sure about the Windwalker Monk taking up so much more space in normal. I think there is more players in normal that play Monk, because if you like the game and you care you don't play this class, Arcane remains a top contender. Fire taking up some steam. Fire will eventually outscale. It's gonna take an eternity, but it will happen and it will do insane boom boom. Retribution Paladin is kinda trash, but I will say something, especially in my groups, okay? Like a normal raid that doesn't care too much about like the actual performance, Retribution Paladin is pretty fine, because even though they don't bring insane damage, they bring defensive cooldowns. And Heart of Fear in particular, defensive cooldowns are so freaking important. You are expected to rotate cooldowns pretty much almost every fight constantly, especially the last fight, the queen of whatever thing she is, I don't remember the bog lady. The bog lady that throws bugs into the poop pile. You know what I'm talking about, the bog lady. Well, you need so many defensive cooldowns to kill her that even if you do not get a lot of damage out of a paladin, just having an extra cooldown makes it so important. And this is actually something that people don't talk about much. And Holy Death Knight is doing a lot of really good damage. Frost Death Knight, not as good, but pretty good, respectable, right? Very good damage. They got Anti-Magic Dome. It is one of the best defensive cooldowns in the game, so you get best damage in the game and one super broken defensive cooldown for free. Even though the paladin defensive cooldown is more powerful, yes, the value that a Death Knight can provide, you can stack Death Knights really well into a raid and they will work out. You can make an argument that in a super tryhard guild, you can take more Death Knights and replace healers, which is bonkers. It is very bonkers. So yeah, do not feel discouraged if you play a red paladin. That was my point. I kinda lost track of things because yes, sure, they don't do insane damage, but people appreciate a paladin in the raid. We want that cooldown. We want defensives. The warlocks are doing very poorly, which I am surprised about. Demonology is still at the top of the warlocks, not by a lot. Now, aside from the actual numbers, I hear a lot of people, and I tend to agree with it actually, that they do not like the new warlock. And even though I think demonology is very interesting, it is also insanely complex for no reason. And that's gonna piss people off. And that's why you can see that warlocks are not very popular in MoP anymore, because nobody wants to go master a warlock. Say you do. Say you are insane at the game and say you do invest all this time into mastering the demonology warlock, one of the hardest classes in the game, perhaps the hardest class in the game in my opinion. You are rewarded with a very mid, very crap performance. So what's the point? What's the point of playing warlock? And that's something we experience a lot actually. We cannot find warlocks for my raid. Nobody plays warlock anymore. The Boomkin is way at the bottom. I think they need another nerf. I think Cyrene didn't nerf them enough. Like they should get like at least 3 more nerfs. Cyrene, like you can see, like we can still see a orange bar in here. Like if you could delete them from the game, like this, there you go. I think this should be the ideal balance state of the game right now. Like I'm sure Cyrene agrees with me here. You gotta delete that druid out of there. Like nobody wants to see a Boomkin in the game anymore. And Shadow Priest also eating a significant amount of Gleesy right here in the bot. I think I can explain this very well, and I can also explain the Elemental Shaman very well, and it's that overall there is a lot, and I mean a lot more movement for casters in Heart of Fear. Not only the intended movement that you have to do to deal with the mechanics, the tornado Frogger thing, the Taron crab with 4 toes and you gotta stab him in the toes and spin around and whatnot. There is also a lot of movement that comes from expending your defensive cooldowns. The dome is a dome, you gotta be under the dome or you freaking die. And that means that a lot of classes like the Priest or the Elemental Shaman, which do have mobility but have a hard time moving and doing DPS at the same time, they they tend to perform pretty poorly. The Arcane Mage has an ability with 3 stacks, I forgot the name. They can pop it and pop it and pop it, and they can actually move and cast their entire perfect rotation the entire time. The Elemental Shaman doesn't have that. They have a cooldown for it, but that's pretty much it. They cannot just keep moving and casting the entire time. They can do Lightning Bolt. That's it. That's not ideal, right? That's not perfect. So there is quite a skill gap between the Shaman and the Mage. You need to be a lot better at Shaman to move than you need to be Arcane Mage, for example. But overall, casters do not have a good time in here. Why? Because poor little casters. Can I play a violin for the casters right here? Poor little casters, they always think they got it better than us, you know? Like, oh yeah, we don't have to move. You suck, melee. Take that, melee. But the second they actually do have to move, it's a really big problem for them. And that's what this entire thing proves on the mechanics. Now, I would also like to check out the bosses. If we go back here, we are gonna see a lot of people topping the DPSers, but you are gonna see, this is what I wanna see. You see a nice diverse group of classes in here. That means that a mechanic is not particularly benefiting somebody. Look at this. This is the Frogger guy in Heart of Fear. Why are rogues popping off in the Heart of Fear Frogger guy? Because casters do not have the same mobility as a rogue. Also, rogues can pop a cooldown, I forget the name, and they can just walk through a couple tornadoes, which is very useful. And in turn, everybody else is losing a lot of uptime, but not the rogues. You also see the Druid, very similar. Druids are very mobile. Then we go to Garalon. Why is Garalon doing insane damage? Actually, Siren took care of that, because God forbid we can have fun in a class. Warriors were topping this fight because they could pop sweeping strikes and do boom boom to every single leg. And now Siren said, no you don't anymore, because it's somewhere in Pandaria it was not allowed and it's illegal. You cannot do it anymore. Like, when I do class changes, that's fine and all, but when like the class changes I do changes something else that I didn't predict, that's wrong. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. So yeah, the warrior just got like a glizzy in the butt as well, like we say. Then we got Windlord. Windlord, I do not actually know the exact mechanic, guys, I will not lie, but there is a mechanic that makes the tank do a lot more damage. It's a buff or something. Our DK actually got top DPS in the entire raid because of this fight. As you can see, tanks are getting all the damage in this fight. That's intended, so yeah, that's kinda pointless. And the Grand Empress is also in a very similar boat. Now, why is that? Because tanks are actually the best cleavers in the game now. If a tank is tanking 3 mobs, they are taking the full vigilance now because of the changes, so they get a stupid amount of attack power, and they can hit 3 bosses at once. Not small, tiny AoE guys. You know, we're talking like big guys that you can boom all at once. Now, I don't know how it's working here. Maybe these guys are cheesing it, because you can put one of the ads in the poo-poo pile, and if you put them on the poo-poo pile, they cannot be hit. So maybe they are intentionally not doing that to, you know, to get like an extra parse. I don't know if they are doing that. Either way, I am not surprised that Prot Warriors are top in this fight. Overall, the balance is melee town. And you know what? For once, the melee have won. Take that, caster boys! We do 20% more damage than our caster counterparts. And you know what that means? We gotta shoot for 30! We are live on Twitch every day. We stream the raids. We got a community benediction raid, benediction US. If you wanna sign up, all I ask of you is that you do not freaking kill me in the raid because I look bad. And subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching!